Listen up. This is the consistency money code. Your daily actions either build wealth or bleed it dry. For the next hour, disarm excuses, weaponize tiny habits, and learn the exact loop that turns small, boring actions into massive, predictable income. Stop waiting for motivation. Start engineering systems that force progress. Commit to one repeatable move every day. This is not theory, it's operational. Pay attention. Do the work right now without excuse today. Chapter 1. Quit waiting. Compound daily. Waiting is expensive. Waiting looks harmless, but it quietly steals your future. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're waiting. Waiting for clarity. Waiting for motivation. Waiting for permission. Waiting for the perfect time. That's the trap. Wealth does not come from ideas. Wealth does not come from motivation. Wealth does not come from talent alone. Wealth comes from compound interest on action. That's the key. Every small action you take today earns interest tomorrow. Every day you skip is interest you will never get back. You have a choice. You either compound or you decay. There is no neutral. Let's be clear. One big move feels impressive, but one big move without daily follow-through dies fast. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. It's not about excitement, it's about discipline. Say it again. It's not about excitement, it's about discipline. People overestimate what one dramatic day can do, and they massively underestimate what boring daily action does over time. Compound wins, not intentions. That phrase matters. Burn it into your mind. Compound wins, not intentions. Intentions don't earn interest. Action does. Let's talk real numbers. There was a freelancer, not special, not famous, not lucky. He added one thing to his routine, one extra $50 task per week. That's it. No rebrand, no new business model, no viral moment. Just one additional billable action repeated weekly. Week 1, $50. Week 2, $100. Month 1, $200. Year 1, $2,600. But here's what changed everything. That habit trained his identity. He stopped seeing himself as busy. He started seeing himself as consistent. So the $50 became $75, then $100. Then referrals showed up. Compound wins, not intentions. He didn't think his way to money. He behaved his way to money. Daily beats dramatic. Say it. Daily beats dramatic. Most people chase dramatic. They want the breakthrough. They want the explosion. They want the overnight win. But dramatic is fragile. Daily is unstoppable. There's another example. A content creator. No viral start, no celebrity shout-out, just a commitment to grow revenue by 0.5% per day. That sounds laughable to most people. 0.5% won't change anything. That's what waiting minds say. But 0.5% daily compounded across a year doesn't double, it doesn't triple, it multiplies more than 6 times. 6 times. Same person, same niche, same audience. Different behavior. Daily beats dramatic. Every day he asked one question. What tiny action increases revenue today? One better headline, one clearer call to action, one extra email sent, one offer slightly improved. No excitement, no applause, just repeatable action. That's the money code. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your daily actions. That's the key. Now here's where most people sabotage themselves. They miss one day and they quit. They tell themselves, I already broke the streak, what's the point? That thinking is poison. One missed day is not failure. Quitting after the miss is failure. Interest doesn't disappear because of one pause, but it collapses when you stop depositing. You have a choice. When you miss, you resume immediately. No guilt, no self-talk, no drama. You don't need their permission to continue. You don't need motivation to restart. You just act. Again. Do it again tomorrow. Repeat. That's how compounding works. Now let's get practical. If your income depends on motivation, you are broke by design. Motivation is unreliable. Systems are not. So here is the tactical move. You choose one micro-income action. One. Not five, not a strategy, not a vague intention. One action that directly connects to money. Examples: one outreach message, one follow-up invoice, one product improvement, one piece of content with a clear offer. Small, specific, repeatable. Then you calendar it. Same time, same trigger, same duration. You don't fit it in, you lock it in. Alarm set, calendar blocked. No negotiation. That's the key. If it's negotiable, it won't compound. You remove choice. You act before thinking, because thinking delays. Action compounds. Say it. Action compounds. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be scheduled. And when the alarm hits, you move. Even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, even if you don't feel like it. It's not about quality first. It's about volume and consistency first. Quality comes later. Daily beats dramatic. Every time. Now listen carefully. Your future income is not hiding in a breakthrough. It's hiding in a routine you're currently avoiding. That email you keep postponing. That follow-up you will do tomorrow. That offer you never refine. That's where the money is. But only if you show up daily. You have a choice. You can keep waiting for confidence, or you can let confidence be built by repetition. Confidence is a byproduct, not a prerequisite. That's the key. You don't become consistent because you're confident. You become consistent because you're confident. Read that again in your mind. Consistency creates confidence. Confidence does not create consistency. So stop waiting. Waiting is the most expensive habit you have. Start depositing actions. Small, daily, unsexy. Because compounding doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to repetition. And repetition always pays. Do it again tomorrow. Repeat. You've learned the foundation. You've learned why daily action beats big ideas. But knowing this isn't enough. Next, we're going to lock this habit into place by turning it into ownership. You stop being random. You start owning a lane. You quit dabbling. You dominate one micro-habit. That's how markets recognize you. That's how money follows you. You've quit waiting. Now, let's talk about ownership.
Chapter 2. Own a micro-habit, own a market. Random effort gets ignored. Consistent signals get rewarded. That's how markets work. Algorithms don't reward talent. Customers don't reward potential. They reward reliability. That's the key. A market is not convinced by what you say once. A market is trained by what you repeat. You have a choice. You can keep dabbling, or you can own one small action so consistently that the market associates you with it. Ownership doesn't start big. It starts narrow. And most people resist this because they think small means insignificant. It doesn't. Small repeated is powerful. Big inconsistent is invisible. Say it. Small repeated is powerful. The market doesn't need to understand you. It needs to recognize you. Recognition comes from repetition. That's the key. One micro-habit, done daily, becomes a signal to people, a signal to platforms, a signal to money. And when signals repeat, attention follows. When attention follows, income follows. You don't need their permission to become recognizable. You need consistency. Let's ground this in reality. There was a local fitness trainer. No massive audience, no paid ads, no viral content, just one habit. Every single morning, he posted a 10-minute drill. Same format, same framing, same energy. No overthinking, no content strategy, just repetition. Day 1,
5 views. Day 10, 20 views. Day 30, 100 views. Nothing impressive, but something powerful happened. People stopped scrolling past him. They started expecting him. That's the key. Expectation is currency. Expectation turns viewers into followers, followers into leads, leads into clients. After 60 days, people didn't ask if he was qualified. They asked how much he charged. Why? Because consistency implies competence. Say it again. Consistency implies competence. The market assumes if you show up daily, you must know what you're doing. That trainer didn't prove himself with claims. He proved himself with repetition. One micro habit, one market. That phrase matters. One micro habit, one market. Now let's break this down into something you can execute today. You don't need a brand. You don't need a platform. You don't need a big idea. You need one income-adjacent action, the smallest unit of value that leads to money. Examples: one cold DM, one follow-up email, one product description tweak, one 10-minute content post with an offer. Not 10 things, one. Because scattered signals confuse the market. Focus clarifies. That's the key. When you do one thing every day, the market learns who you are. You're the one who posts that. You're the one who explains this. You're the one who follows up. Identity forms through repetition, and identity is how money finds you. You have a choice. You can keep changing direction, or you can stay in one lane long enough to be noticed. Now here's the mistake most people make. They try to be creative every day. That kills consistency. Creativity increases friction. Friction kills habits. It's not about creativity. It's about discipline. That's the key. So you standardize. You create a template. Same structure, same opening, same close. Only the variable changes. The message adapts. The habit stays the same. That's how professionals operate. They don't ask, "What should I do today?" They ask, "Did I do the thing?" Big difference. You remove decision-making because decisions drain energy. Systems conserve it. You don't need their permission to simplify. You need a repeatable format. Let's talk templates. Templates are not boring. Templates are freedom. A script removes hesitation. A checklist removes excuses. If you must think, you will delay. If you delay, you will drift. That's the key. So build a simple checklist. Open, execute, close. No emotion, no analysis, just action. And you track streaks. This part is critical. Streak beats wish. Say it. Streak beats wish. Wishing feels productive. Streaks produce results. A 7-day streak does more than a brilliant plan. Why? Because streaks change identity. After 7 days, you stop asking if you are the type of person who does this. You become that person. And once identity locks in, effort drops. That's the money code. Celebrate streaks, not outcomes. Outcomes lag. Streaks lead. That's the key. If you only celebrate money, you'll quit early. If you celebrate consistency, money eventually arrives. You have a choice. You can chase results, or you can build the habit that guarantees results. Now listen carefully. Owning a market doesn't mean being everywhere. It means being predictable. Predictable beats impressive. Predictable beats clever. Predictable beats viral. Daily beats dramatic. And daily dramatic beats dramatic daily. One micro habit, one market. Again, one micro habit, one market. If people know what to expect from you, they trust you. Trust converts. Trust pays. That's the key. So here's your instruction. Define your micro habit today. Write it down. Make it so small it feels almost embarrassing. Then lock the format. Template it. Script it. Checklist it. Then execute it for 7 days. No variation, no improvement, no expansion. Just repetition. When 7 days are done, do 7 more. And then 7 more. Because streak beats wish. Always. You don't need to feel confident. You don't need validation. You don't need permission. You need to repeat. The market will respond when it recognizes you. Recognition comes from consistency. Consistency comes from systems. You now own the habit. Next, we make sure you never rely on motivation again, because habits die when they're optional. You've learned how to send the signal. Now we remove your ability to skip it. You note this chapter. Now we make progress unavoidable.
Chapter 3. Make progress unavoidable. If it's optional, it dies. That's not an opinion, that's a law. Optional actions don't survive stress. They don't survive fatigue. They don't survive real life. That's the key. Every habit that depends on mood eventually disappears. Every habit that depends on choice eventually fades. You have a choice. You can keep pretending you'll decide to act, or you can remove the decision entirely. Because progress only compounds when action is unavoidable. Say it. Progress must be unavoidable. Most people think they lack discipline. They don't. They lack structure. It's not about laziness. It's about leverage. That's the key. When an action is optional, your brain negotiates. When your brain negotiates, consistency dies. Negotiation sounds like this. I'll do it later. I'll do it when I feel better. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is a graveyard of income. You don't need their permission to stop negotiating. You need to build defaults. Defaults are invisible power. A default action happens without debate, without motivation, without self-talk. That's how real progress is made. Let me show you what this looks like in the real world. There was a designer, talented, hard-working, always busy, but income was inconsistent. Why? Because invoicing was optional. He sent invoices when he remembered, when he felt like it, when he wasn't tired. That's optional behavior. So he changed one thing. He created an invoice template, saved it on his desktop, auto-filled the details, then he scheduled it. Every Friday, same time, no exceptions. He didn't ask if the work was perfect. He didn't ask if he felt ready. The invoice went out. Revenue increased, not because he worked harder, but because action became unavoidable. That's the key. He didn't improve skill, he improved structure. Structure beats effort. Say it. Structure beats effort. Most people try to force discipline internally. That never lasts. You don't fix behavior with willpower. You fix behavior with environment. That's the money lesson. You have a choice. You can rely on self-control, or you can design your life so progress happens automatically. Now let's break this into steps. Step 1. Rearrange your environment. Your environment is stronger than your intention. If your tools are hidden, you won't act. If distractions are visible, you'll drift. That's the key. Put the action in your face. Invoice template on the desktop. Content notes open by default. Sales CRM bookmarked. Remove friction. Add friction to distractions. Log out of apps. Delete shortcuts. Silence notifications. You're not trying to be disciplined. You're trying to make the wrong choice harder. That's the key. Step 2. Schedule non-negotiable triggers. Not sometime today, not when I'm free. Specific time, specific cue. Same time, same place. Every day or every week. The trigger starts the action, not motivation. Alarm rings, you move. Default to action. Say it. Default to action. When the trigger hits, you don't think, you execute. Thinking invites excuses. Excuses kill streaks. You don't need their permission to obey your calendar. Your calendar is your boss. Step 3. Attach immediate micro rewards. Your brain responds to instant feedback. Long-term rewards feel abstract. Short-term rewards feel real. That's the key. After the action, reward yourself. A walk, a coffee,
a break. Not before, after. This trains your brain to crave completion. Completion becomes satisfying, and satisfaction fuels repetition. Default to action. Now let's talk reinforcement. If you can't see progress, your brain assumes it doesn't exist. That's why visible trackers matter. A calendar on the wall, a streak app, a notebook with check marks, physical evidence. Every mark says, I am the type of person who shows up. Identity forms visually. That's the key. One check mark seems small. 10 check marks change self-perception. Use habit chains. Don't break the chain. And when you feel resistance, repeat this line. No choice, just do. Say it. No choice, just do. This phrase cuts negotiation. It bypasses emotion. It turns action into a reflex. You don't debate brushing your teeth. You don't debate putting on clothes. Your income actions should feel the same. Automatic, unavoidable. You have a choice. You can keep relying on motivation, or you can design your life so progress happens automatically. Now listen carefully. The goal is not to do more. The goal is to make skipping impossible. It's not about trying harder. It's about removing exits. That's the key. When the path of least resistance leads to action, progress compounds. When resistance leads to comfort, growth dies. So audit your setup. Where are you allowing choice? Where is action optional? That's where income leaks. Seal the leaks. Turn habits into defaults. Turn defaults into income. You don't need permission to redesign your environment. You need commitment. Because once progress is unavoidable, consistency becomes easy. And when consistency becomes easy, scale becomes possible. You've made progress unavoidable. Next, we remove the final illusion, the belief that willpower will save you. It won't. Systems will. You've locked the door to excuses. Now we automate the engine.
Chapter 4. Automate willpower or die trying. Willpower is weak. Say it again. Willpower is weak. It feels powerful in the moment. It feels heroic. It feels productive, but it fades. That's the truth most people refuse to accept. Willpower is a limited resource. It runs out when you're tired. It runs out when you're stressed. It runs out when life gets real. That's the key. If your income depends on willpower, it will eventually collapse. You have a choice. You can keep waiting for discipline days, or you can build systems that work even when you don't feel like it. Because systems don't get tired. Systems don't negotiate. Systems don't procrastinate. Systems execute. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs rely on motivation. Professionals rely on automation. It's not about being strong. It's about being structured. That's the key. Hero moments feel good, but they don't scale. Grinding late one night, sending 50 messages in a burst, rebuilding everything from scratch. That's drama. Drama doesn't compound. Daily systems compound. Say it. System first. Willpower second. Now let's make this real. There was a SaaS founder. Smart, focused, busy. He knew follow-ups mattered. He believed in them. But follow-ups depended on memory. Some days he did them, some days he didn't. Revenue reflected that inconsistency. So he made one change. He automated follow-ups. Emails scheduled, sequences timed, reminders removed. The system followed up while he worked on other things, while he slept, while he rested. Conversion went up, not because he became more disciplined, but because discipline was no longer required. That's the key. Automation replaced intention, and intention is fragile. You don't need their permission to stop relying on effort. You need infrastructure. Now, let's break this into execution. First rule, anything repeated should be automated. If you do it twice, document it. If you do it 3 times, template it. If you do it weekly, automate it. That's the system ladder.
Auto-pay tools. Why should paying bills require memory? Why should saving require effort? Automate it. Scheduled outreach. Why should you remember to reach out? Why should consistency depend on mood? Schedule it. Templated offers. Why rewrite the same message every time? Why waste energy on what's already proven? Template it. Delegated repeat tasks. If a task doesn't require your brain, it doesn't require you. That's the key. Every manual repeat is a leak. Leaks drain willpower. Leaks drain focus. Leaks drain income. You seal leaks with systems. Say it again. System first, willpower second. Now let's talk guardrails. Automation without guardrails creates chaos. You don't automate everything. You automate the right things. Guardrails prevent procrastination and overthinking. Examples: no edits after scheduling, no redesigning templates daily, no rewriting systems mid-week. The system runs as designed. Review happens later. That's the key. You separate execution from evaluation. Most people mix them. That's why they stall. They execute, then judge, then adjust, then stop. Professionals execute blindly during the week, then review objectively. Weekly audit, non-negotiable. Once a week, you review what worked, what slowed down, what created friction. Then you simplify. Remove steps, shorten processes, clarify templates. Automate the grind. Say it. Automate the grind. The grind should not require thought. The grind should require obedience. Thinking is for strategy. Execution is for systems. That's the key. You have a choice. You can keep burning energy on basics, or you can reserve energy for leverage. Energy saved becomes focus. Focus becomes growth. Now listen closely. Automation is not laziness. Automation is respect for your time. When you automate, you're saying, this action is important enough to never forget. That's power. And here's the hidden benefit. Automation creates emotional distance. You stop attaching feelings to tasks. You stop negotiating with yourself. The system runs. You observe. That's maturity. It's not about passion. It's about precision. That's the key. If you feel resistance to automation, ask yourself why. Usually it's control or ego. I like doing it myself. I want it perfect. Perfection delays profit. Profit favors execution. You don't need permission to choose progress over pride. Automate. Now imagine this. Your income actions run daily. Messages send themselves. Follow-ups happen automatically. Payments arrive on schedule. Not because you tried harder, but because you built once and repeated forever. That's leverage. That's the money code. System first, willpower second, every time. So here's your directive. List every task you repeat weekly. Circle the ones tied to money. Automate one this week, not 5, 1. Build it once, test it, let it run. Then next week, automate another. Automate the grind. Your future self will thank you, because the goal is not to work harder. The goal is to work once and get paid repeatedly. You've now removed dependence on motivation. You've replaced effort with systems. But systems without measurement drift. Automation without tracking becomes blind. So next, we confront the truth most people avoid. Feelings don't pay. Numbers do. You've automated action. Now we measure money.
Chapter 5. Measure money, not feelings. Feelings are liars. Say it again. Feelings are liars. They tell you you're busy. They tell you you're making progress. They tell you you're almost there. But feelings don't pay bills. That's the key. Vanity metrics lie too. Likes, views, followers, applause. They feel good. They feel validating. They don't equal income. You have a choice. You can measure what feels good, or you can measure what makes money. Only one compounds. It's not about how motivated you feel. It's about what converts.
That's the key. Most people avoid numbers because numbers remove comfort. Numbers don't care about effort. They don't care about intention. They don't care about your story. They only report results, and results are the truth. If you want income consistency, you must track income quality metrics, not activity, not excitement, money. Examples of real metrics: conversion rate, revenue per action, repeat purchase rate, cost per lead, lifetime value. These numbers tell you if your actions are working. Feelings can't do that. Measure cash, not comfort. Say it. Measure cash, not comfort. Let me show you how this plays out in the real world. There was an influencer, large audience, high engagement, lots of praise, but income was flat. Why? Because he measured attention, not conversion. He chased likes. He optimized for comments. He celebrated virality. None of that paid. Then he changed one thing. He stopped tracking likes. He started tracking affiliate conversions. Clicks to sales, sales to income. That's it. He noticed patterns. Some posts with fewer likes converted better. Some posts with high engagement made nothing. So he adjusted. More of what converted, less of what didn't. Income doubled. Not because the audience changed, but because measurement changed. That's the key. What you measure improves. What you ignore decays. You don't need their permission to stop chasing applause. You need clarity. Now let's get practical. You don't need a complex dashboard. You don't need spreadsheets with 20 tabs. You need simplicity. Complexity hides avoidance. That's the key. Create a simple daily metrics dashboard. 3 actions. Add, subtract, report. Add, what action did you take today that connects to money? Subtract, what wasted time or didn't convert? Report, what was the result? 1 line, that's it. Example, sent 10 outreach messages, got 2 replies, 1 booked call. Clear, honest, useful. No emotion, no justification. Measure cash, not comfort. This 1-line log trains objectivity. It removes self-deception. You stop guessing. You start knowing. That's power. Now, here's where people resist. They say, I don't want to feel discouraged. That's comfort talking. Comfort is expensive. It's not about discouragement. It's about feedback. Feedback is how systems improve. That's the key. You don't avoid the scale because you're afraid of the number. You use the number to adjust behavior. Same principle. If something doesn't convert, it's not a personal failure. It's data. Data directs discipline. Say it. Data directs discipline. Now, let's talk about daily reflection. Every single day, ask one question. Did this move make money? Say it again. Did this move make money? Not did I work hard. Not did I feel productive. Money. If the answer is no, you don't quit. You adjust. You have a choice. You can defend your actions, or you can refine them. Defending feels good. Refining makes you rich. That's the key. Over time, this question becomes reflex. You stop doing busy work. You stop hiding behind effort. You start prioritizing leverage. That's transformation. Now, let's address the fear. Some days the answer will be no. That's normal. The danger is not negative days. The danger is unmeasured days. Unmeasured days repeat mistakes. Measured days compound lessons. Measure cash, not comfort. Say it again. Measure cash, not comfort. When you track consistently, patterns emerge. You see what actually moves revenue. You see what drains energy. Then decisions become obvious. Cut what doesn't convert. Double down on what does. No emotion, no drama. That's professionalism. You don't need permission to operate like a professional. Now, here's the hidden benefit. Measurement creates emotional distance. You stop tying your worth to outcomes. You see results as signals, not judgments. That frees you. You execute more, you adjust faster. That's the key. So, here's your assignment. Starting today, log 1 money-related action daily. 1 line, no exceptions. After 7 days, review. What worked, what didn't. After 30 days, optimize. This is how income becomes predictable. Predictability comes from measurement. Measurement creates control. Control creates scale. You've learned how to act daily. You've learned how to automate action. You've learned how to measure results. Now there's one enemy left: distraction. New ideas, new tactics, new shiny things. They kill compounding. You've built momentum. Next, we protect it, because focus is fragile and distraction is expensive. You've learned to measure money. Now we eliminate the habit that destroys it.
Chapter 6. Kill Shiny Object Syndrome now. Shiny objects are expensive. They don't look expensive. They feel exciting. They feel smart. But they quietly destroy momentum. That's the key. Every new idea pulls attention. Every pivot resets progress. Every switch restarts the clock. You have a choice. You can keep chasing new opportunities, or you can let one opportunity compound. Most people don't fail because they chose the wrong thing. They fail because they never stayed long enough for anything to work. It's not about intelligence, it's about discipline. Say it. It's not about intelligence, it's about discipline. Shiny object syndrome feels productive. You're learning, you're planning, you're exploring options. But accumulation requires depth, not novelty. Depth compounds. Novelty distracts. That's the key. Every time you switch focus, you pay a hidden cost. Lost context, lost rhythm, lost momentum. That cost doesn't show up immediately, but it compounds against you. This is unseen decay. Let me show you. There were two entrepreneurs, same market, same starting point, same resources. The first one pivoted every quarter. New offer, new niche, new strategy. Each pivot felt justified. Each pivot felt logical, but nothing ever fully matured. The second entrepreneur doubled down. Same offer, same audience, same daily action. He refined instead of replacing. After 2 years, the difference was massive. One was still figuring it out. The other owned the market. Why? Because compounding only works when you stay. That's the key. Switching feels like progress, but it resets compound interest to 0. Say it again. Switching resets compounding. You don't need their permission to stop chasing new ideas. You need focus. Now let's be clear. New ideas are not the enemy. Uncontrolled ideas are. Ideas are cheap. Execution is rare. Most people confuse thinking with doing. They think because they had a new insight, they moved forward. They didn't. They moved sideways. That's the trap. You have a choice. You can build or you can browse. Browsing feels safer. Building feels boring. But boring compounds. That's the key. So here's the defense. You install a decision filter. Simple. Binary. When a new idea appears, ask one question. Does this improve my repeatable action? That's it. If the answer is yes, you test it inside the system. If the answer is no, you file it. Not delete, file. Finish the thing, then expand. Say it. Finish the thing, then expand. This filter protects your focus, because focus is fragile. Every maybe steals energy. Every what-if splits attention. Attention divided doesn't compound. Attention concentrated does. That's the key. Now let's talk about the parking lot. Your brain generates ideas constantly. You can't stop that, but you can contain it. Create a single place to store ideas. A note, a document, a board. When a new idea appears, you park it. You don't act on it. You don't analyze it. You park it. This tells your brain, I won't forget this, but I won't derail. That's power. Lock focus, execute. Say it. Lock focus, execute. This removes anxiety. You're not suppressing creativity. You're sequencing it. Execution first, expansion later. That's the key.
Now let's address the fear underneath shiny object syndrome. Fear of missing out. What if this new thing is better? What if I'm wasting time on the wrong path? That fear is normal, but chasing better prevents finished, and unfinished work never pays. Finished systems pay. Say it again. Finished systems pay. You don't need certainty to commit. You need consistency. Certainty comes after results, not before. That's the key. Here's a rule to live by. No major changes mid-cycle. If you commit to 30 days, you finish 30 days. No exceptions. After the cycle, you review with data. Then, and only then, you decide. This is how compounding survives. This is how momentum builds. This is how income stabilizes. You've eliminated distraction. You've protected focus. But focus alone isn't enough. Focus without accountability still slips. Next, we add pressure, because pressure creates follow-through. You've killed shiny objects. Now we install consequences.
Chapter 7. Accountability. The Habit Execution Tax. Freedom without accountability is a lie. Say it again. Freedom without accountability is a lie. People say they want freedom, but what they really want is comfort. Comfort avoids pressure. Pressure produces results. That's the key. Nothing sharpens execution like consequences. When no one is watching, standards drop. When nothing is at stake, excuses grow. You have a choice. You can rely on internal promises, or you can create external pressure that forces action. Because intention alone is weak. Accountability converts intention into execution. That's the key. Most people don't need more motivation. They need stakes. It's not about desire. It's about discipline. Say it. It's not about desire. It's about discipline. Discipline shows up fastest when failure costs something. Money, reputation, pride. When there's a cost, behavior changes. Let's make this real. There was a copywriter, talented, inconsistent. Some days he wrote, some days he didn't. Income followed the inconsistency, so he made a deal with a friend. Every missed writing day cost him money, cash, paid immediately. No excuses, no explanations. What happened? He stopped missing days. Output increased, confidence increased, income followed. Why? Because pain clarified priorities. That's the key. Accountability pays. Say it. Accountability pays. The human brain responds to consequences faster than rewards. This isn't weakness, it's wiring. So instead of fighting human nature, you use it. You build systems of accountability that force consistency. You don't need their permission to create pressure. You need courage to accept it. Now, let's break down the models. You don't need all of them. You need at least one. Model 1, accountability partners. One person, clear rules. Not a cheerleader, a checker. Someone who expects proof, not excuses. Daily message, simple report. Did the task, yes or no. That's it. No stories, no explanations. Accountability pays. Model 2, public streaks. Public declarations change behavior. When people know you're watching, standards rise. Post your streak. Update it daily. You don't need a big audience. You need visibility. Visibility creates pressure. Pressure creates consistency. That's the key. Model 3, financial penalties. This is the fastest. Money focuses attention. Set a penalty. Miss the habit, pay the price. Donate to a cause you dislike. Pay a friend. Transfer automatically. Pain must be immediate. Delayed penalties don't work. That's the key. Model 4, reporting rituals. Daily check-ins, weekly scoreboards, numbers only. Did you execute? Yes or no. How many reps? What result? No emotional commentary. This turns work into a game. Games keep people consistent. Accountability pays. Say it again. Accountability pays. Now let's address resistance.
Most people avoid accountability because it threatens identity. If I commit publicly and fail, what will people think? That's ego. Ego prefers comfort over progress. Progress demands exposure. You have a choice: protect your image or build your future. That's the key. No one remembers failed streaks. They remember finished ones, and finished systems pay. Now, let's talk structure. Accountability without clarity becomes chaos. You must define the habit clearly. What is the action? When is it done? What counts as success? Ambiguity creates loopholes. Loopholes kill habits. That's the key. Be precise. One outreach message sent. One invoice delivered. One piece of content posted. Binary. Done or not done. Then you report. Every day. Even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. Because discomfort is where growth happens. Report or pay. Say it. Report or pay. That phrase matters. It removes negotiation. Either you show proof or you accept the penalty. Simple, clean, effective. Now, here's the transformation most people miss. Accountability doesn't just enforce habits, it reshapes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries. You become someone who reports. Reporting creates ownership. Ownership creates pride. Pride fuels consistency. That's the loop. And once consistency locks in, accountability becomes lighter. At first, pressure forces action. Later, identity sustains it. That's the key. So here's your instruction. Choose one accountability model today, not tomorrow, today. 1. Set it up in under 30 minutes. Define the habit, define the penalty, define the report. Then execute for 7 days. No skipping, no renegotiating. If you miss, pay. No drama. Accountability pays. After 7 days, review. After 30 days, your behavior will feel different because you'll stop trusting feelings and start trusting systems. You've now built daily action. You've automated execution. You've measured money. You've killed distraction. You've added pressure. But pressure alone isn't enough. Next, we multiply results, because consistency without leverage caps income. You've learned how to show up. Now we scale small repeats into massive impact. You've paid the execution tax. Now it's time to multiply returns.
Chapter 8. Leverage small repeats for massive scale. Most people misunderstand scale. They think scale is doing more. Wrong. Scale is doing the same thing with leverage. That's the key. Scale is not chaos. Scale is repetition multiplied. Repeat times leverage. Say it. Repeat times leverage. You don't grow by adding random tasks. You grow by amplifying proven ones. You have a choice. You can keep working harder in isolation, or you can turn one disciplined action into 10 outcomes. That's the key. It's not about effort. It's about systems. Most people are busy. Very few are leveraged. They do the work once, then let it die. No reuse, no amplification. That's wasted momentum. Momentum is fragile. If you don't capture it, it disappears. That's the key. Let's look at a real example. There was a podcaster, consistent, disciplined, 10 minutes per episode. Nothing fancy, but instead of stopping there, he leveraged. That 10-minute audio became a blog post, 3 short clips, an email newsletter, a quote graphic, a discussion post. Same idea, different formats. Same effort, exponential reach. That's scale. Repeat, then leverage. Say it. Repeat, then leverage. He didn't add more thinking. He added distribution. Distribution is leverage, and leverage multiplies output without multiplying effort. That's the key. Here's where most people fail. They try to scale before they repeat. They chase automation without consistency. That never works. You don't scale chaos. You scale discipline.
It's not about creativity, it's about discipline. Say it. It's not about creativity, it's about discipline. First, you lock the habit. Daily output. Small, repeatable. Then you ask one question. How can this one action live in more places? That question changes everything. You don't need their permission to reuse your own work. You need structure. Now let's break this down into tactics. Tactic 1. Batch tiny tasks. Context switching kills leverage. When you do things one by one, you bleed energy. Batching creates momentum. Instead of posting daily, create a week at once. Instead of editing daily, edit 10 pieces in one session. Same brain mode, higher output. That's the key. Batching protects focus. Focus allows repetition. Repetition enables leverage. Repeat, then leverage. Tactic 2. Template outputs. Templates remove friction. Friction kills consistency. If every output requires fresh thinking, you'll quit. So you standardize. Same intro, same structure, same format, only the message changes. This isn't laziness, this is professionalism. Systems beat talent. That's the key. Templates allow speed. Speed allows volume. Volume allows data. Data tells you what to double down on. Now you're scaling intelligently. Multiply the minute. Say it. Multiply the minute. Tactic 3. Create syndication loops. One action should feed another. Output should never be isolated. Example, you record once, that feeds content. Content feeds email. Email feeds offers. Offers feed revenue. That's a loop. Loops compound. Isolated actions decay. That's the key. Every time you complete a task, ask, where else can this live? If the answer is nowhere, you've stopped too early. Repeat, then leverage. Now let's address resistance. People say, I don't want to feel repetitive. That's ego. Audiences don't experience your content all at once. They see fragments. Repetition builds recognition. Recognition builds trust. Trust builds income. That's the key. You're not boring. You're being remembered. You have a choice. Protect novelty or build authority. Authority comes from repetition. Now let's make this practical. Here's your weekly scaling checklist. Simple, non-negotiable. 1. Identify your core daily action. Writing, recording, selling, outreach. 1. 2. Lock the repeat. Daily execution. Small enough to sustain. 3. List 5 formats. Audio, text, short video, email, visual. 4. Create templates for each. No improvising, no redesigning. 5. Batch production weekly. 1 session, high focus. 6. Schedule distribution. Let systems post for you. 7. Review what performs. Double down next week. That's it. Multiply the minute. Say it. Multiply the minute. This is how small efforts create massive outcomes. Not overnight, but inevitably, because leverage compounds, just like habits. That's the theme. Small actions, relentlessly repeated, intelligently leveraged. You stop chasing growth. You build engines. Engines don't burn out. They compound. Now, understand this. Leverage amplifies both good and bad systems. If your habit is weak, leverage magnifies weakness. That's why repetition comes first. Always. You earn the right to scale. You don't need permission to do this. You need commitment. Commitment to boring excellence. Commitment to reuse. Commitment to systems over emotion. That's the key. You've learned how to show up. You've learned how to stay accountable. You've learned how to scale. But scale without protection collapses because the world will test your consistency. Noise will try to pull you off rhythm. Next, we defend the system. We talk about protecting focus in a distracted world because leverage means nothing if attention is fractured.
Chapter 9. Feedback. Iterate. Profit. Repetition alone is not enough. Repetition without feedback is blind repetition. You can work hard, you can stay consistent, and still stall. Why? Because effort without correction compounds mistakes. That's the key. Discipline gets you moving. Feedback keeps you moving in the right direction. You have a choice: repeat blindly and hope, or repeat intelligently and win. That's the key. Most people avoid feedback. They say they're focused. They say they're locked in. But what they're really doing is hiding. Hiding from numbers. Hiding from reality. Feelings feel safe. Data feels brutal. But data tells the truth, and truth is profitable. It's not about confidence. It's about calibration. Say it. It's not about confidence. It's about calibration. Here's the reality. The market is always giving feedback. Every click, every reply, every sale, every silence. You're already being graded. You're just choosing whether to look. You don't need their permission to measure results. You need courage. That's the key. Let's ground this with an example. An e-commerce seller. Solid product, decent traffic, but sales were flat. Instead of panicking, he tested. Every day, one tiny change. Headline wording, button placement, product description length. Nothing dramatic, no full redesign, just micro tests. 1% gains. Over time, conversion climbed. 1%, then another, then another. 6 months later, revenue had doubled. Same product, same traffic, better decisions. That's the power of feedback. Test fast, fix faster. Say it. Test fast, fix faster. This is where most people fail. They test emotionally. They change everything at once. Then they don't know what worked. That's chaos. That's ego. Real iteration is disciplined. It's slow. It's boring. It's lethal. That's the key. Let's break the process down. Simple, repeatable, non-negotiable. Step 1. Collect data. Not vibes, not opinions. Numbers. Conversion rate, response rate, revenue per action. Pick metrics tied to money or progress. Vanity metrics lie. Cash metrics clarify. That's the key. Step 2. Set one hypothesis. 1, not 5. One clear assumption. If I change this, this number should improve. That's it. No overthinking. Step 3. Test for 7 days. Not 1, not 30. 7. Long enough to matter, short enough to move. Consistency matters. Step 4. Implement the winner. If it works, lock it in. If it fails, discard it. No attachment. Your ideas are not your identity. Say it. Your ideas are not your identity. Step 5. Repeat. New hypothesis, same system. Measure, tweak, repeat. Say it again. Measure, tweak, repeat. This process removes emotion. Emotion kills clarity. Clarity creates profit. That's the key. Now let's talk about speed. Slow feedback kills momentum. If you wait months to review performance, you drift. Daily awareness, weekly iteration. That's the rhythm. Every week you ask, what moved the needle? What didn't? What do we test next? This is how pros think. Not in goals, in experiments. You're not failing, you're collecting data. You have a choice. Take results personally or treat them professionally. That's the key. Now let's confront a dangerous lie. Just trust the process. No, trust the process and verify it. Blind faith is lazy. Disciplined verification is power. It's not about optimism, it's about discipline. Say it. It's not about optimism, it's about discipline. Feedback loops protect you from delusion. They stop you from wasting years. They tell you when to double down and when to walk away. That's profit. Now here's a rule you must adopt. No changes without tracking. No tracking without review.
No review without action. Anything else is theater. You're not here to feel productive. You're here to become effective. That's the key. Let's install a ritual. End of every week, same questions, written, no exceptions. What did I test? What changed? What improved? What do I lock in? What do I test next? This ritual compounds because learning compounds, because clarity compounds, because profits compound. Measure, tweak, repeat. Say it again. Measure, tweak, repeat. This is another hard truth. Most people quit right before feedback kicks in. They don't give tests time. They chase novelty. Sound familiar? This is how focus dies. Iteration requires patience, not passive patience, active patience. You stay in the game long enough to learn. That's discipline, and discipline wins. You don't need permission to improve. You need a system that tells you the truth, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. That's the key. Now connect this to the bigger theme. This entire book is about making consistency automatic. Feedback is the steering wheel. Habits are the engine. Systems are the frame. Without feedback, you crash slowly. With feedback, you course correct fast. Test fast, fix faster. Say it. Test fast, fix faster. You've learned to act. You've learned to repeat. You've learned to scale. You've learned to refine. There's one final piece, the one that decides whether all of this survives long term. Because even the best systems decay if you stop showing up. Next, we talk about identity. Not motivation, not hacks, identity. Because the strongest habit is who you believe you are. You've learned to build the machine. Now you must become the operator.
Chapter 10. Scale consistency into wealth. Consistency is not the goal. Consistency is the engine. Systems are the gearbox. Time is the fuel. That's the key. The wealthy don't chase brilliance. They don't wait for lightning strikes. They don't depend on motivation. They compound. They take small, profitable actions. They repeat them. They systemize them. They scale them. You have a choice. Stay stuck doing everything yourself, or turn what works into something that runs without you. That's the key. Most people misunderstand wealth. They think it's about intensity. They think it's about genius. They think it's about working harder. No, it's about working once correctly, then cloning it. It's not about talent, it's about discipline. Say it. It's not about talent, it's about discipline. Let's ground this. A franchise owner. One location, nothing flashy, but one thing worked. One profitable daily routine. Same opening process, same customer flow, same upsell script, same close, every day. When it proved profitable, he didn't reinvent, he replicated. Same routine, new location, again and again and again. That one day became a template. That template became a system. That system became millions. That's wealth. Consistency scaled. That's the key. Now listen carefully. If something only works when you're there, it's not a system. It's a job. Wealth begins when success survives your absence. You don't need their permission to build leverage. You need structure. That's the key. Let's define leverage clearly. Leverage is when effort stays the same, but output grows. Same daily habit, more reach, more impact, more income. Repeat, then leverage. Say it. Repeat, then leverage. This is the final evolution of consistency. You've built the habit, you've refined it, you've measured it, you've protected it. Now you scale it. Here's how. Step 1. Stabilize the habit. No scaling chaos. If it's inconsistent, it's not ready. You need predictability first. Same time, same action, same result. Daily, done. That's the standard. Step 2. Document the habit. Write it down. Steps, tools,
Timings. If it's not documented, it can't be delegated. Clarity creates scale. That's the key. Step 3. Automate what doesn't require judgment. Scheduling, follow-ups, payments, distribution. If a machine can do it, let it. System first, willpower second. Say it. System first, willpower second. Step 4. Delegate repeatable execution. Humans for nuance, systems for repetition. Train once, deploy many. Your job shifts from doer to architect. That's wealth. Step 5. Multiply distribution. One action, many channels. One product, many buyers. One message, endless reach. Turn daily moves into passive miles. Say it. Turn daily moves into passive miles. This is how consistency becomes income, and income becomes assets. Assets buy time. Time buys freedom. That's the key. Now let's talk exit strategy. Not quitting, capturing. Once a habit is stable and profitable, you don't stop it, you detach from it. Automation, partnerships, investments. You let the habit earn while you sleep. That's not laziness, that's intelligence. It's not about effort, it's about leverage. Say it. It's not about effort, it's about leverage. Here's where most people fail at the finish line. They stay emotionally attached to doing. They fear letting go. They fear losing control. But control is expensive. Systems are cheap. You have a choice. Hold everything tightly or build something that holds itself. That's the key. Now install the final operational checklist. This is how daily habits turn into scalable assets. Listen closely. 1. Is the action profitable? If no, refine. 2. Is it repeatable? If no, simplify. 3. Is it documented? If no, write it. 4. Is it automated where possible? If no, systemize. 5. Is it delegable? If no, standardize. 6. Is it distributed across channels? If no, multiply. 7. Is performance reviewed weekly? If no, schedule it. That's the checklist. Simple, brutal, effective. Daily, done, deployed. Say it. Daily, done, deployed. Now reinforce the final truth. Wealth is not built in breakthroughs. It's built in boring days repeated correctly. That's the key. The world celebrates spikes. The wealthy protect streaks because streaks compound, and compound beats everything. You've heard this phrase before. Now it becomes permanent. Measure, tweak, repeat. Say it again. Measure, tweak, repeat. This is the loop that never ends. This is how consistency becomes inevitable. You don't rise to goals, you fall to systems. And now you've built yours. You have a choice. Walk away inspired or walk away operational. Inspiration fades, systems stay. That's the key. This book was never about motivation. It was about control. Control of your actions, control of your time, control of your income. Consistency is not a personality trait. It's a structure you install, and once installed, it prints. Daily, quietly, relentlessly. That's wealth. Daily, done, deployed. Measure, tweak, repeat. You don't need permission. You already have the blueprint. Now, execute. Every day compounds. Small, correct choices repeated without drama create unstoppable momentum. The consistency money code is simple. Pick one smallest income-generating action, make it unavoidable, track it, and repeat it until results arrive. Ignore overnight fantasies. Build systems that outwork willpower. Measure progress, celebrate tiny wins, punish inconsistency with real consequences, and protect the habit at all costs. Start today. 5 minutes, one focused task, no excuses. Do not wait for permission, proof, or perfect conditions. Your future account balance depends on what is done today. Now, the challenge. Commit to the smallest repeatable income action for 30 days. Document it and publish the habit to accountability, friends, a group, or public post. When this episode is over, like this video, subscribe to Mindshift Audiobooks, and leave one sentence in the comments. Day 1 done. No more excuses. Go execute now. Start the streak. Prove it today.